Hi, welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. Today, we're diving into something that so many singers really seem to be struggling with. And I understand because it's fundamental. It's one of the fundamentals of singing and of the voice and using the voice as an instrument. And that is breathing. Breathing, whether you are have questions about breath support, breath management. Do you struggle with holding out your long notes? You don't really understand how breath control, breath support, or breath management work and what those even mean, or how to um, really achieve what is helpful and efficient and good breathing as a singer, then I want to break things down for you today in today's episode, really simply in a way that is like beginner friendly and also a good thing to come back to if you're a singer who's been singing for a while, but maybe you're still struggling with this or you haven't really built up your healthy, like sustainable technique when it comes to breathing as a singer. So we'll get into it. I'm going to break things down very simply. Um, but just know that like it's something that you're going to need to continue to practice and implement over and over and over again every time you go to sing until it becomes more like second nature to breathe in this way in a way that's really efficient for it's going to be really efficient for you as a singer. Um and you're going to then need to practice it with actual singing. So not just breathing in and out, just on like breathing exercises alone, but really trying to couple this breathing process that I'm going to take you through with actually singing notes so that you can connect the two, right? So that you can connect the breathing with the singing from the jump. So every time that you go to practice, like, okay, I feel like I need to really practice my breathing technique and practice establishing good breath support, do it with the song that you're working on or do it with some vocal exercises so that you're starting to incorporate it into singing immediately rather than just breathing on your own. That way, yeah, remember singing is a motor skill. So you have to do the action itself in order to really improve. Okay. So we're going to get into that. I'm very excited to share that with you. Quick disclaimer. So before we even get into the breathing 101 of it all and how to establish helpful breath support as a beginner adult singer, especially for women, because I know you girls out there are the ones listening for the most part to this show. So, hey, girl. But quick disclaimer slash quick myth buster from the jump we need to establish is that there is no such thing as quote unquote singing from your diaphragm, okay? Because your diaphragm is not where your voice is coming from, right? Your diaphragm is a muscle that is like attached right at the bottom of your lungs. And it all that it's doing is that it's lowering and contracting it. As it contracts, it lowers a little bit as well as your lungs fill up with air. Okay. And then as your lungs exhale, as you exhale the air, the lungs expel the air, right? Your diaphragm is going to relax back into its regular position, right under your lungs, still under your lungs the entire time, but it's going to relax into its regular position, which is like slightly arched and it's going to go up a little bit. And so I just don't want you, let's rewrite that story in our minds that we are singing from our diaphragms. We sing from our vocal folds, right? We sing from our larynx, which is in our throat. But the diaphragm is the most important muscle of inhalation or inspiration, which is just you breathing in air because it's what allows your your lungs to really fill up with air, right? It has to lower, it has to contract, and it has to be working in order for you to live. So that's important. But as singers, there are some things that we can actually control more directly. We can't really directly control our diaphragm. It does what it does without our actual control because it's just it's the autonomic nervous system. It's the automatic in your body. Like if it didn't do that, then we wouldn't be able to breathe. So it does that on its own. But what we can do as singers is what I'm going to go through. And that's what we can control in order to create resistance to how quickly your diaphragm returns back to its natural position. We can create resistance to how quickly your lungs expel the air. We can create resistance, and that resistance is what we call breath support. And so that's what I'm going to break down for you. If you are like already not sure what's going on, you have more questions before we jump in, I just want to let you know you're always welcome to grab a lesson with me, and I'd be happy to work with you individually, because I've noticed with singers that every single singer comes to lessons with their own kind of way of breathing that is kind of a little bit unique to them. And sometimes like I see students who like they seem to be breathing just fine, like have nice technique in one song, and then another song it's like maybe it's a little bit faster tempo and they're struggling to get their breaths in nicely and that kind of thing. So it varies from person to person. It can vary from song to song. So working with the coach is really helpful at times. So if you need help with like breath support and you really want that one-on-one support, as well as wanting that like, visual of like how it actually works and stuff like that, I am happy to work with you in a lesson. You can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio if you want to book there. Also, you can come ask any other questions that you might have after today's episode at creativelybyestelle.com/community. You can join our community group and we'll be chatting about breath support a lot this week in there, which is going to be fun. All right, so let's get into it. Number one, the inhale. What do you do on the inhale? Okay, I'm breaking this breathing 101 into two parts now that I've given my disclaimer about the diaphragm and what it actually does and what it does not do. So our goal then is to create that resistance. Remember, to create resistance to how quickly your diaphragm returns back to its position. And that is how we create support. That's how we create breath support. So what does this mean practically? On the inhale, number one, you can write this down if you need to take notes. Write down number one, inhale. What happens on the inhale? Like I mentioned before, the diaphragm contracts and it lowers, okay? That's what's happening as you are breathing in air every time that you breathe in air. However, what we can do as singers in order to help really and really start to control what that breathing looks like, right? And really determine how full of air our lungs are able to get, as well as to make sure that we're not increasing any sort of tension as we're breathing in on the inhale. What we can do, and what I always encourage students to do, is to focus on relaxing your shoulders down as you breathe in. Relax your shoulders, keep your chest open and your shoulders relaxed and even a little bit back if you want to. So shoulders should always be relaxed. Neck, shoulders, and chest should just be relaxed and open. There should not be any sort of raising of the shoulders per se too intensely or tightening around the neck as you are inhaling. That is a big thing to watch out for, especially for new singers. That's like the biggest thing I see is you go to take a big breath and then you just like contract, you tense up around the neck and the shoulders so quickly. And all that's doing is creating a lot of tension right there. And it's also called like taking a clavicular breath. You're really just filling up the tops of your lungs. So you're not really getting a deep breath. If you're doing that, if you're just doing a heave and lifting up your shoulders and tightening around your neck, you're getting tight. You can feel the tightness there sometimes. And so that's not really giving yourself the best breath in. Okay. And so think relaxed shoulders, chest open, shoulders relaxed and back, nice and relaxed up there. Now, when you think about what you can do on the inhale, what can help is expanding your, like around your stomach a bit or around your waistline, expanding there a bit to help with getting a nice, deep, tension-free breath. So we do want to move. We're humans. We should move our bodies, right? So you shouldn't just like breathe in and like be completely still. So instead of getting that movement up in like your shoulder area and creating tension around there, move that movement downward. Get that movement to go downward towards where your stomach is, okay? Towards where your stomach is, towards where your waistline is, that's where you want to go ahead and expand. Because what happens is that as your diaphragm lowers and your lungs fill up with air on the inhalation, what's happening is that when it lowers, like all of the contents of your stomach, which are under your abdomen, that's right under your diaphragm. So it's like kind of squeezing down on there anyway. So if you just go ahead and expand your stomach, you're just making it nice and easy for your diaphragm to really have lots of space to lower and for your lungs to really fill up nice and deeply. So instead of moving around your shoulders and your neck and getting tension as you breathe in, lower that movement down to your abdomen, to your stomach area. Expand around the waistline as you breathe in. Expand, let your stomach get really big, let your stomach kind of expand outward and around, even towards your back, because you have abdominal muscles that kind of wrap around the back as well, that you can kind of engage as well. So just expand down there. And that's going to get you a nice deep filling of your lungs right there. Okay. That's on the inhalation. And that honestly isn't even the biggest focus I think that we need to have for singers. But the only reason that I really emphasize the inhalation is because I oftentimes see a lot of tension around the neck and shoulder areas for singers, for new singers especially, and that is not always helpful. Okay, and so I really want to just emphasize that relaxed relaxed chest area, and keep that chest open. Breathe in so that your lungs can really fill up nice and big. Breathe in and expand around your stomach area. Okay. That's what you want to do for the inhalation. We're going to review it all again at the end, but hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think. You guys know where to find me. Come to the community, creativelybyestelle.com/community if you have any questions on the inhalation. Okay, now, if you're writing this down, number 2, put exhale. So we've broken down what are you doing on the inhalation? You're relaxing your shoulders, you're expanding your stomach, okay? Now on the exhalation, this is when you're actually singing out. Yay! This is where we get to the fun part. This is when you start to exhale and move your voice outward, right? I don't know why I said it like that. Move your voice outward, but sing out. This is when you're going to start to sing out. So on the exhale, this is like even more important because this is when we're actually singing. And this is where the efficiency comes in. So instead of, I'm just going to see if I can, let me give myself a note here. Okay, yeah, let's start right there. So instead of, as you sing out on ah, if you're singing a note on ah or la, let's do la, la, right? Instead of doing, I'm taking a nice deep breath in, expanding my stomach, and then I'm gonna go la, and I'm gonna release all my air, and I'm collapsing my chest, my shoulders, and I'm kind of shrinking down, and all the air is gone. That's what we don't want, okay? So I want you to, on the exhale, keep that relaxed shoulder position. The chest remains open. And the abdominal muscles, that part of your stomach that you expanded on the inhale, now I want you to engage those muscles. I want you to bring those muscles, engage those muscles. You can, some people even think about holding them out, like holding out your tummy as you're singing out in order to create resistance. I kind of want to keep those abdominal muscles moving, just moving them in slowly and steadily. So that way you're still moving, because I think movement is really important for singers. Actually, it's not just I think. Research shows movement is really important for singers. We never really want to be completely stagnant. But you can feel in your body how you can engage your abdominal muscles, allow your stomach to move in and even up a little bit steadily. As your diaphragm returns back to its natural state and you release air, guess what? You're creating resistance to the diaphragm going back up to its natural state by simply engaging your abdominal muscles and not allowing your stomach to kind of come in too quickly and releasing all your air. The other way that you create resistance is by, we create resistance through keeping our ribs expanded. We have muscles, our rib muscles that we can keep expanded as well. And the way to think about this simply is just to think about keeping your chest open. That can create a little bit of rib resistance as well to how quickly your lungs release the air, right? Because remember, your lungs are in your chest, right? And your ribs are helping to protect your lungs as well as your heart. And so you want to keep those ribs open as long as you can to create that resistance to how quickly the tissue of your lungs and then release the air, right? So on the exhale, I want you to engage your abdominal muscles, engage them, bring your tummy in and even up a little bit steadily. Feel it in your body. How does it feel for your body, right? Think about engaging those abdominal muscles, bringing that tummy in, and keeping your chest open to help create that resistance to your lungs, releasing the air as well. That is how you create breath support. That is how you create breath resistance. And frankly, that's the foundation for breath control, breath management. Breath management is just how you manage the release of your air. So how are you managing that release of your air? How are you releasing the air steadily and consistently? Right? The more you practice engaging your abdominal muscles, remember they wrap all the way or even around your back. So engaging that entire core as you're singing out, the more you practice that, the more you're going to understand how you can manage your breath. Now, there are other things to think about when we think about breath management. It's not all in the breathing, actually. We can also manage our breath in different ways through our resonance, through the way the sound resonates in our mouth, how we're in our vocal tract, how we're using our vocal tract as well. Also, very much contributes to how efficiently you're using the air that you're expelling, okay? But since we're talking about breathing today, we're just gonna focus on the breath, okay? When we get into a lesson, I really like to think holistically, so I don't just talk about breath. I'm also going to talk about vowel modification, how we can change the vocal tract itself to help create a type of resonance that's going to help give feedback even to your vocal folds and help you with creating a more efficient use of the voice. And we can do that by shaping our vocal tract differently, which is really cool. Again, that's for another episode. That's for a more holistic view. But today, we're just focusing on breath support. I want you to try not to overthink. Instead, I want you to practice it a bit. So we're going to practice this on a note, and we're going to see if you can practice that breath flow process that I just broke down for you in depth, okay? So let me review. Number 1, the inhale. This is when you're going to keep your shoulders relaxed, and you're just going to focus on, as you breathe in, expanding your stomach, expanding around your waistline in order to get a deep, tension-free breath. Keeping your shoulders relaxed and down. Do not shrug them tightly up. Do not get tight and tense around your neck. Keep that nice and relaxed, and simply expand your stomach, okay? All right, because your diaphragm is lowering, remember, and it's going to let it get that space, right? So expand your tummy, expanding around your tummy, waistline, stomach area, whatever you want to call it, and keep your shoulders relaxed. That's the inhale. Now remember the exhale. Now what are you going to do? You're going to engage those abdominal muscles that you just expanded, start to bring them in slowly, start to contract them slowly and steadily. Movement in that way, okay? Moving inwards and steadily, and then keep your chest open as you are breathing out, okay? Inhale, shoulders relaxed, stomach expanded. Exhale, engaged abdominal muscles, bringing them in, keeping your chest open. That's how we are creating breath support. Now, let's practice that on that same note that I started with. We're going to do this on whoo, okay? So, because that's getting us nice and getting some airflow going. So, we're going to do this on a whoo, like a hoot. Whoo. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in. Let's do a breathe in for 4 beats, and then we're going to whoo for 4 beats. And see if you can practice that inhale, shoulders relaxed, stomach expanded. Then on the exhale, engage your abdominal muscles and keep your chest open. Got it? Let's try this. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and whoo. One more time, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoo. So, how did that feel? You might need to practice this again. This is a great way to start practicing, just focusing on relaxing your shoulders and expanding your tummy as you inhale, and then as you exhale, engage those muscles, bring them in, and sing out while you're keeping your chest open. Practice that and see how that helps you. See how you're able to engage the air and keep the air flowing the entire time as you're singing out, rather than releasing it all at once. Notice whether you have less tension as you're doing it this way versus how you usually sing, right? Notice what's happening in your body. Try not to overthink again, but you gotta just practice it. This is something that feels very natural to me because I've been doing this for years now, and I've worked with teachers who have helped me practice this in different ways. But when you're just starting out, or you're starting out again, or you're trying to get back into practice as an adult, you got to give yourself patience and be willing to just try it again and again and again and again, okay? And be willing to also ask for feedback and get support as well. You guys know you can work with me if you want to do this in a lesson. I have nice discounted lessons over this summer, throughout the summer semester, and I have some new slots open for the month of June, so I'd be happy to work with you and help you really apply this so that you can do this with multiple different songs, so that you can practice this again and again and continue to develop that technique. So you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio if you're ready to work with me. If you're ready to work with someone and you think that someone, that person for you is me, then I would love to work with you. But I really encourage you to try to get feedback from a voice teacher or a vocal coach of any kind, whether in your area, etc. But that way you can make sure that you're, establishing healthy technique and establishing what's helpful for your body, right? So I want to make sure that you are actually getting what you need. So I encourage you to get with a coach, to get with someone who can give you that feedback, make sure that you're really practicing properly, and I'd be happy to be that person for you. I have now about 3 years of experience teaching virtually, teaching online, and I truly believe that I can help you establish this and establish that helpful technique for your breathing. And I want to hear you singing. I want to know that you're doing this and that you're getting something out of that and out of this podcast, and that you're applying it to your life. So I would love to meet with you, coach you, work with you. Again, creativelybyestelle.com/studio. But I'd also love to just hear from you, whether this helped you, whether this inspired you, whether you were able to apply this practically. And I'd love to hang out with you in our community group. Again, that's at creativelybyestelle.com/community. Okay, so that's it. Remember the inhale versus the exhale. What do you do on each of those? Just keep practicing that, and practice it with a little bit of singing, with vocalization, so that you can put 2 and 2 together, okay? I hope this encouraged you. I hope this inspired you. I'm so happy to be able to hang out with you again. I'll see you guys on the next episode on Thursday. I can't wait to chat with you then, and maybe I'll catch you up on some other things, because I feel like today was very teachery, which is good, but I also want to make sure that we're still, caught up with each other, share some things from my life that are encouraging me and inspiring me. And so I feel like I'll do that more on Thursday's episode. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. Come say hi in the community group. I can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the Performing Arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.